Hello, my dear subscribers. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lana, and today we discuss celebrities, news, politics, and drink a lot of coffee. Let's go! And being a Rihanna's fan, I cannot go by the news that she is pregnant with her second child, and and she was performing on the Super Bowl and wearing this red costume. Well, she was amazing. Well, you know, guys, how I love Rihanna, and I think ASAP Rocky is a very, very lucky guy to be by her side, and he's as well a good parent. So congratulations to these two. Hope the baby's gonna get born healthy and pretty as Rihanna. And you know, guys, I really missed creating content for this channel, but I was so busy with my 25 or 55, or I even forgot how many lawsuits I have. One of the lawsuits is actually a motion that I'm trying to restore to the calendar, the criminal case from 2016 when a crime victim won our dear trafficker Eliot Spitzer accused me in extortion. And the second crime victim also accused me in fraud, forgery, attempting to steal money, and so on. I actually wanted to file this motion. I filed this 2 pages small motion, and without attaching any exhibits, any verification, any proof. So it was just a small motion which could not be decided for as long as 1 year. It was rescheduled. And I actually looked at the draft of 440 motion, how they actually drafted, and I realized my motion is very small and it can be even 300 pages. So I requested the court for giving me an opportunity to draft another one, and the court, of course, the New York court system is so kind to me, so kind, and they allowed me to change my 440 motion. Thank you, guys. And so I started to dig more and more information. And you know, I look at one detail and I don't understand why is it this, and I started to think as those who wanted to accuse me in these crimes. So for example, the date of the crime listed as February 13, 2016. This is the date when I was abused by Eliot Spitzer, our dear trafficker in Plaza Hotel in New York, and I did not plead guilty to any of his crimes. Okay, any of the charges he had against me. But I pled guilty to some email, so it was such a small email that I sent in 2014 in June to another crime victim, Paul Knipes. And I'm looking at this and I cannot understand why, if I pled guilty to the crime which happened back in 2014, yeah, and the crime is listed like it was February 13, 2016. I thought, okay, maybe they want to, cover whatever abuse happened by this date. Then I think no. And you know, in the indictment, Spitzer-related charges, where it was only 2. So it was extortion of $50,000, so it was some big felony. I think it was B felony, big B felony. And however, they say extortion started from 2014. Some documents say it started from 2012, and some of the prosecutors' documents say it started from 2010. So the prosecutors cannot even find out which year I started my extortion scheme. And moreover, even Spitzer doesn't know which year extortion started, because in his recent document filed, he says, you know, extortion started in about 2013 or 14. Oh, really? Dear trafficker, you don't even remember the year the extortion started. Oh, you probably have some sort of mental disease already that you keep forgetting things. And I assume you forget so many things you did to me, you know? And so, you know, guys, I was thinking why the prosecutors lie in their indictment. Because I pled guilty to the crime which happened in 2014, and they accused me like it happened in 2016. And because I found out in my recent request to USCIS, to my immigration folder, that I was put as a high-priced escort. I'm going to share an exhibit here. Back in February 14, 2016, this is the date when I left the US. I was already marked, you know, this way. And right now I have a pending immigration case in Florida in regards to forgery, in fraud and misrepresentation in my green card application regarding whatever they put in this date. So anyways, coming back, I was thinking why they needed to put another date. Like seriously, it was not the date when the crime had happened. And it was in connection to the crime that happened after my immigration admission to the United States. So you know, guys, whatever crimes you committed before you started your green card time, you know, it was time before you got green card, it was time after you got green card. And so if you had a crime before you got your green card, then this does not count. This crime does not count as the crime that can deport you or put a lifetime ban on you or something. So they intentionally put, you see how they predict, how they write my story, I would say. So they put the crime intentionally, like it happened after my admission to the United States. So when they further did their immigration removal case against me, they can put a ban, the judge can put a ban. Of course, the corrupted judge, well, there is no way. The judge would not be corrupt, you know? I wonder why I was the last one who was, you know, and among all of the 60 people in the courtroom, I was always the last one. And why in New York? And why in my immigration folder, it was Spitzer's name like this big. And my immigration folder was on top on everybody's folder. And I also wonder, you know, why Spitzer and his great, smart, just genius and just very talented set of lawyers deem my 3 identical civil lawsuits against Latin Times, against Daily Mail, and against New York Post, which I accuse them in the same crime as defamation of me by calling me an escort and sex worker in their articles. So why just 2 newspapers, just two civil lawsuits, which is Daily Mail and New York Post, are deemed Spitzer-related cases? Can you explain? And Latin Times is not Spitzer-related, but Latin Times newspaper article also discusses Spitzer. So why is it Spitzer-related? Maybe because these two newspaper articles in New York Times and Daily News were attached to my immigration case. Yeah, if I right now going to get rid and going to win these cases, I can later present it to the immigration judge in Florida, right? But if I don't win these cases, it's gonna be, you know, legally assumed that I was, you know, who they accused me in. So how come 3 identical, just the same text, the same everything, just different dates of articles and different magazines or newspapers, but you know, 2 cases were Spitzer related, which were in my immigration folder, and 1 case is not Spitzer related? Please explain that to me, Mr. Arthur Middlemiss, right? What's your name? So another thing that I found preparing my 440 motion on my own, you know, all these lawyers, they charge way too much money. Plus, I'm not going to be sure that they do not conspire with Spitzer and they do not work for him, right? They don't let me control what is written in there. They do everything to, you know, to defend him and not me. So they work for him actually. Whatever, a paid lawyer, unpaid lawyer, so everything is coming to Spitzer's favor. Okay, another discrepancy that I found. In the search warrant that was issued on February 14, 2016, which was signed by the Judge Laura Ward. Oh, this is the same Judge Laura Ward that denied my fair trial in connection to my landlord case and the former management case by stating that she worked for them and she's going to have a conflict of interest. But I found out later on that this judge, Laura Ward, Your Honor, you signed my search warrants and this is your conflict of interest. And you never worked for First Service Residential Management, and you never worked for my landlord, my previous landlord. So anyways, the search warrants were signed by the judge who were not a supervisor judge on Sunday, on February 14, 2016. It was signed by Spitzer's friend, Judge Miss Ward. Another thing that I found in unapproved police reports that exactly on February 14, District Attorney Clark from Bronx, which was not yet assigned to my case, issued subpoenas in regards to my stuff. How come? Can you explain, please? Another thing that I found was the unapproved police report, which had Detective Palam and Detective Kiufi. So Kiufi or Chiufi or Siufi, so whatever Fifi was there, so he was arresting me, okay? But Palam wrote those unapproved police report. Like I said, that Spitzer wanted to destroy my computer in order to get my computer and search and start a fucking search in my electronic devices to possibly find anything. They found the passwords from my debit card. They also seized my my bank cards, and they also restricted my access to my own cash. So when I asked Spitzer to buy me a sweater because it was a very cold night, I was in prison for 12 hours, and Spitzer of course took me to the airport. So nice of him, because I was filing a regular domestic violence report for 12 hours, and I spoke to different sets of officers and even to lieutenant and sergeant. So it was very strange to me filing, sitting in prison for 12 hours. How fun. And so this, whatever, Kiufi and Palam, they wrote this unapproved police report together. It was approved by Kiufi and it was written by Palam. And I think they all sat together and thought, oh, what should we write there? What should we write? But guys, your stupidity is clear. And the fact that you just sealed the case and you do not let me see other things in the case. And in order for me to see the grand jury minutes, all of the discovery in my criminal case, I had to sit in Rikers Island for 5 years just to, get prepared for the trial, because accusing somebody in felonies allow them to keep you in jail for 5 years. And I did not have money to pay my $1 million bail. And I thought about it, why $1 million? It's so much. But actually, they put 20 crimes, they accused me in 20 crimes. And the statute of limitations was expired in so many crimes. So they did it purposely to give me as many crimes as possible, even with backdated statute of limitations, even with everything, to justify this $1 million bail. How disgusting they are. So in that search warrant, so let me just get back to whatever I was saying. In the search warrant, what is interesting that on February 14, 2016, I was already identified as a perpetrator. How come you found out? Did Eliot Spitzer complain? No. Is there a police report? No. Is there a subpoena to his phone number which was received the same minute it was subpoenaed and blah blah blah, which recovered the text messages where I asked him of giving me money for a sweater? Oh, and I also asked him to upgrade my flight because, for my reasons that I'm not going to discuss here, okay? Well, I can discuss, yes, I was pregnant and I had a miscarriage, but I would upgrade my damn ticket on my own if you did not restrict me my own access to the cards and to the cash. So you just put police officers all over Plaza Hotel floor who denied me access to the room, and you guys now claim that whatever money I asked, that it was starting of extortion. Really? Oh, wait. And one more thing. Extortion is actually it is if I threaten somebody with physical violence, or if I threaten to expose intimate details of their relationships in the media, if I'm right? So something like that, embarrassing material about the person, blah, blah, blah. Where did you see on February 14 that I tried to harm poor Spitzer? Where I tried to extort money? Where? So you're just fucking criminals, and you know that. You're just criminals, that's all. You conspire with Spitzer. You did not let me have my civil rights and use my civil rights, and whatever you say that women in this country, women have this and that. No, look at me. I was abused. I lost a child. I was 1 year in jail with all these forged, fake accusations. And you knew, oh, by the way, okay, let's go back to my plea. The plea was in connection, I wasn't presented any documents in regards to this plea. And I didn't even know what the question is, but I wanted to get out of jail. It's obvious. It's so obvious that if you put a person in jail, the person does not like to be in jail and she wants to get out. She wants to do anything just in order to get out. And you did not give us any documents in regards to the accusations. So the judge, that dear Judge Solomon, that conspired with Spitzer, he intentionally brought up a wrong address of the apartment. So they say that, okay, I lived in Midtown and I tried to steal money for the apartment that was in Midtown. But actually, whenever I agreed, it's obvious that the person wants to get out of jail. And I did not hear anything. I did not, everything was just a fucking blur. And this money were actually asked from Knives, because I was kicked out by Knives. He threw all of my furniture. He threw out all of my things from the previous apartment where I wasn't allowed to stay with the dog. They had a strict dog policy, and later Nipes was invited to management's office, and he was threatened that if in the apartment they are going to tell his wife that he gave me his documents. And it was an apartment on Upper East Side. Even on the check, it's written a different management, different address. And you guys have this check, you guys have this address. And you intentionally say that I tried to steal money. So you represent me, Bronx special prosecutors that were hired specifically in connection to my accusations of domestic violence by Spitzer. You forge documents this way that I am presented as a poor, non-paying person, where actually money were owned on this apartment just 2 years later. You knew that when I was in California and somebody else lived in that apartment. Yes, it's so convenient for you to accuse me, oh, she needs of money, she needs this and that. But that's not true. I asked my own money, so the management gave Nipes my own money, which Nipes did not give it to me. And you guys subpoenaed all of my bank records, and you saw that this money were mine. They were returned to Nipes' bank account, and he never gave it back to me. So Nipes actually stole my money, and you knew that. And again, you exonerate another American guy who clearly did at least a crime against me. He took my money and he did not give it to me. And when I asked my money, you knew I did not get it, because this is the accusation you gave me. Attempted to steal $5,000. So attempted, it means that I did not get it. So I did not get my own money from Nipes. And you knew that. You are fucking criminals. You are criminals. Next, what is there? So I said this and that. So there are so many details I discovered, and still the case is sealed. What else is there? And what is the other case? Another case, a criminal case. I'm always a criminal. Whenever I'm a victim, I'm becoming a criminal automatically in New York. What a great state. What a great state. I love New York. Beautiful, beautiful buildings. Unfortunately, no rights for me when in question is, somebody's reputation. Somebody's as rich and powerful as Spitzer, right? Sometimes I thought of my situation as a thriller, and I was speechless. I was speechless. For so many years, I could not even look at those newspaper articles that were printed out. But after I started my lawsuit against New York Post, and thank you, Spitzer, for actually starting this removal case, because one judge, your judge friend, said once to me, so if they are they're writing a lie about you, why don't you sue them? And I thought, well, can I? Can I see the target? And you know what? Whoever sees this content and whoever wants any higher position in their employment or any money, you guys approach to me, you hit me, and then complain that it's I hit you. And you immediately going to have all the benefits you can imagine. Because Spitzer wants me to be removed. He blocked my access even in Mexico. When I came to Mexico in 2021 in the summer, I was pregnant, I came to Cancun, and I was stopped. Russians, we don't need to have visas in Russian passport. With this temporary green card, I could have access to Mexico. So anyways, I had 2 documents that could allow me to enter Mexico. But I was denied entry. I thought, why? Why do you deny me entry? And I also lost an airplane because the woman was checking. The woman in New York was checking my documents so long that I missed the airplane. I was shocked. I wrote a complaint, but they told me later on, we can check your documents for whatever time it takes. What else is there to check? It's just the passport. So they all conspire. So I think there is something on the border that is written that my name, my passport number, my alien number, and they block my entrance to the country and to Mexico. Why? Because Mexico is the closest country if Spitzer removes me, and if I decide to come back to the US asking for political asylum through Mexico, I would be denied entry immediately. How do you like it? How big was his plan? How scared he is. Spitzer, why are you so scared? This is the behavior of a person who is scared. What are you scared of if you are a victim, if you are so innocent? What is there to be scared of? What? Is there something? Is there something, I don't know, that comes from me? This is just disgusting. So I was denied entry in Mexico. And let me come back to these articles. Well, thank you, Spitzer, for suing me in immigration court. Finally, I found time, courage, and ability to read all of this nonsense that your PR person, Lisa Linden, had created about me. So, in order to build a good scheme, you need to have many people who help you. He had people conspiring with him in police. He had people conspiring with him in district attorney. Now he needs to present the story of abuse in a different light on the media, because I didn't know, but the police report had to be somehow it connected, the police report connected his name, and because he had this high profile, whatever, it was out, discussed. Now he needed to build a story of me being an extortionist. So, first step was to send me to Russia. And of course, I came back to Russia. You denied my entrance, my cards, my money. You denied me to have my clothes. You denied me everything. You denied me to even have the access to my ID. And I did not even have access to $20. I did not have access to anything. I did not have a place to live. I did not have clothes to wear. Of course I would go to Russia. But yes, the articles were printed. Spitzer abused a woman in Plaza Hotel, so on. Once I came back to Russia, oh my gosh, the newspapers had so much fun. So New York Post wrote that I wrote in Russian on my Instagram that I downed 3 martinis at Bergdorf before the plaza, which I didn't. And I thought, why they lied? Why is this small lie? Why is this small lie happening? Do they really care? Is it like 1 martini, 2, 3? And actually my martini was without alcohol. All checks can be subpoenaed. I have my bank record that shows that I spent $42 for that lunch and for that martini. And 3 martini would end up in at least $65 plus tips plus tax. So it would be $75 or $80, just the martinis alone, okay? And I thought, why are they making this lie? But back in 2016, the bill wasn't passed yet. There was a bill that allowed guys to sexually assault women, and if the woman was under influence of drugs or alcohol, her claims weren't counted. And guys used it as a defense, she's drunk. She can say whatever, she was unconscious, whatever I did, like sexually assaulted, she was drunk. And there were so many women silenced by that district attorney, Cyrus Vines, because of this bill. But later, a few years later, this bill was changed. And now, in their legal papers, they do not say anything about my martinis. So why martinis disappeared? Why this detail all of a sudden became unimportant? Oh yeah, because of this bill. Guys, you are not so smart with all of your stupidity. If I spend 10 years looking at my case, I'm gonna find 10 more million issues. Okay? And this is just not right. I was a victim. I was abused. I was silenced. I was in jail. There were so many people who conspired against me. And still I'm the one who is the criminal. Yeah? This is nonsense. So later there was another article by New York Times. New York Times, you published the story so well, up to the point when I got out of jail. Now I see that Spitzer just did not pay you enough to represent his cases, right? My cases in civil court against him, or his misconduct, right? You're just this independent journalist newspaper. And so not only, I'm saying not only authorities conspired with Spitzer, police officers conspired with Spitzer, district attorneys conspired with Spitzer, assistant district attorneys conspired with Spitzer, but also newspapers, the way they presented the situation. There was an article, I remember there was one article that accused me in something else. Oh, yeah, the article that accused me in opening a brothel in the apartment where I was living, but it's also first of all, when I came to civil court to find out those eviction papers, I couldn't find them. How come they found right in one moment, right in one day? I couldn't find my own eviction papers for so many days when I was doing this civil lawsuits. They said papers aren't available. How come they found them just in one short period of time? And of course I have my witnesses, my evidence, and it was just another accusation of me being this ugly person, this person who is hunting for money, oh, by the way, on the indictment, why you didn't put that my police report was fake? This is, another question of mine. You accuse me in so many things, yet this police report wasn't in the charts of accusations. Oh, you forgot. How come you forgot? 20 crimes and you forgot one crime? Why don't you put that this police report was fake? If you come to police and you accuse somebody in the police and it's later discovered that you intentionally lied and it's a misdemeanor, up to 1 year in jail, something like that. So why all of a sudden this is not my case? Why you do not deem my police report as fake one? So you still deem my police report as real one? Please answer. Who do I call? Who do I call? Bill Brunton, Bill de Blasio, or Eliot Spitzer? Or maybe his team of lawyers. I thought that my story is kind of thriller. And I'm actually afraid that it can become a thriller due to Spitzer's craziness, due to his powerful connections, due to his many other issues. But right now I'm sitting and smiling because I think it's all funny, because you are all funny and you're all stupid. And the only thing you did smart is sealing the case entirely. Silence me and to not allow me to see my evidence, to see anything in the case, basically. That's a good job. Good job. You should be proud of you. Proud of yourself, right? So and I also love Spitzer's Wikipedia page. You know, I don't have a Wikipedia page because I don't deserve it. But Spitzer has. He deserves a page on Wikipedia. And Wikipedia is a powerful tool, according to some study, where judges rely on their decisions on their criminal cases or civil cases by reading Wikipedia pages. And on Spitzer's Wikipedia page, he is described as a victim of extortion, and there is a huge paragraph about me. Yeah, victim of extortion. I'm wondering how long this paragraph would stay on his Wikipedia page. I think after my removal, they're gonna delete it. Once I'm gone out of the country, why he needs this page? This paragraph. I think it's gonna be deleted. Such as so many paragraphs in his Wikipedia page related to me. Before I was accused, after I was accused, after I was at jail, and after I was released, and right now it was 4 different paragraphs. Lisa Linden, I think you should become a book writer. You had created pretty much good names. Spitzer, you marked him as Sheriff of Wall Street. Kristen, you named Susan. Yeah, that's the Susan, because if you spoke about Kristen, let me remember what she said. So if you spoke about Kristen in 2009, everybody would think that it was Kristen from 2008. This is why you named her Susan. You have wonderful fantasy. Your fantasy is enormous. You must be a storyteller. You must be a book writer. Bravo. And with your degree in psychology, you also created all of these little articles about myself. How I was collecting lamps on January 29 from the building, from the apartment in Midtown. Like you spoke to neighbors and they saw me taking out of lamps because, I had this debt in connection to the apartment that you further accused me in extort. It was so obvious. It was so obvious. So you write an article a year prior, 1.5 year prior my guilty plea. And you already know what will be my guilty plea, isn't it? You connect this apartment. You write it intentionally, because I was thinking, why did you put that I came on January 29, 2016? I just came to the country on January 28, 2016. You didn't even have this little discrepancies in dates. In the dates, it was all the same. Like I just came and I picked up my lamps and everything. Well, yeah, I needed those lamps. Especially, I didn't even know I had eviction proceedings and I had this apartment. I used to have an idea that once I'm gone, the landlord is just using whatever deposits they have, and if I don't pay, then that means he is putting another tenant. I didn't know that. And of course, I left long before in July. And whatever happened to eviction happened 6 months later when I was already in Russia. So you guys just great conspirators. But I feel so sad for you because you're all under Spitzer. You know, there is nothing good to be under him. Possibly he can provide you with all these references in regards to your job, career. Maybe he pays you some money, but I don't think so. I don't think it's great. I think it's great when you actually achieve everything by your own, not by just licking his asshole. That's Kristen's job. Alright, анальщик Спицер. Ну что, alright, I'm going to be done in a few minutes. And thank you for watching my celebrity news channel. And I like speaking to you guys. And I hope you have a good day.